Hi, guys. Welcome to Transits and Tactics. Gate 29, the gate of consent. It's the time when we want to say yes or no to things. So, the big theme this transit is really around commitments. And I find this fascinating. I was just discussing with Anita how I find that I don't have this gate in my design naturally, and how I'm really experiencing the themes of the transits, especially for the gates that I don't have. And so we're going to talk a little bit about, why that is happening later. But I want to first start with, as usual, just give you a little overview what is happening. So this is the period that is encouraging commitments and the whole adventure with saying yes to things. So watch out for getting excited, watch out for new paths, new people, new projects coming in and you wanting to commit to it. And I would say to you, question all your commitments, because this is the energy of being conditioned by whatever it is. And the planetary transits is one of the ways that we get influenced, but also people in our lives and events and cultures and, whatever's going on in our society. So we take this all in. And this is the time when you have to make your own decisions when it comes to commitment, not based on the excitement or the fact that you're just carried away with this big wave of collective movement, right? But checking in with your inner authority and your strategy, and this is why human design, I think, is so empowering, so empowering, because it gives you power to be true to yourself. We all want to be true to ourselves, but we don't make these commitments. And I want to talk about one of the things that I really was like a big aha moment for me today. I am a splenic projector. That means I live in the now anyway. I sometimes laugh that my life is all in the now only. Everything else is a blur. Something happened, 2 weeks ago, and it's already a blur. And only now is the true reality. But when you're talking about the gate 29, this actually is about being really present and committing to something fully in the now, not being dragged to the past, because the past is already set in stone. It's nothing you could do to change it. The future, our mind gets, we are afraid sometimes to commit fully because we're thinking, oh my God, that happened in the past. And in the future, where is it going to lead me? And so we hold back. But the future hasn't happened. There is no energy to say respond. This is a sacral gate. So there's no energy to respond in the future because it hasn't happened. The only true moment is right now in the now. And that's one of the big aha moments. And I thought to myself, yes, okay, I get this because this is kind of how I experienced this lifetime. But the other thing blew my mind. And what blew my mind is that the true commitment is not based on excitement or desire or any emotions. The true commitment is an inner knowing, just really solid inner knowing. And that commitment happens in the now, only in this moment. It's true to only this moment. And it also requires 100% commitment. And then there was where the biggest part for me was shocking is the statement, and I'm referring right now to Jinky 29 Contemplation by Richard Rudd that I just listened before this recording. It blew my mind when he said 99% of commitment is still half-heartedness, which is the shadow of this gene keys, which is when we hold back. And we do that in most things that we commit to. There's somewhere deep down we hold back, we start thinking, where is it leading us? Or, being afraid what's happening, or maybe holding on to the past hurts. And that blows my mind because I know for a fact, and those of you who follow me, I'm a widow and I have had the commitment that lasted till the end of one of our lives. And I know that this commitment, no matter how good or bad things happen, it's a 100% commitment. Those of you in committed relationships, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's like you are there. This is your partner. You're not considering that this is going to end unless it's death. And that is a 100% commitment, no matter what. And that is the sense of really calm inner knowing that I am in. And I'm going to wait any storm out and I'm going to enjoy every piece of joy that comes my way. But I am in, and this is my commitment. And I think that this is so good, this period, this transit right now, to consider these themes of commitment in your life, in your business. Do you know that you can commit to something? Or are you doing it because you were told by a coach that this is something you need to do? Inside you might not be sure, or, you know, there's something that you're holding back, you're not fully experiencing something. You have to question it. We also have Mercury retrograde now, you know, any kind of commitment saying yes without consideration, without checking in with your true self, with your strategy and authority, expect things to change, right? So I think it's really interesting to contemplate and question everything, especially that the Earth in this transit is in gate 30, which is the emotional gate, is the gate of recognizing feelings. So again, there could be this emotional excitement, you know, desire, and again, you would feel drawn, you can feel drawn to new experiences, but will they be true to you? Can you fully commit to them? Check in with yourself. And I really love this energy. And then on top of that, if you have gate 46 in your design, which I actually have, there's extra kind of questioning and thinking about, you know, from your appearances, it's all about love of your body, experiences in life in terms of like a physical sensory experience, appearance, all these sort of things. You might want to take an adventure, you might want to get something done to yourself, you might want to change something. Remember, this is a transit yet again, so it's good. I think that this is the time to just discern in the now, is this my truth, or I'm just excited? And if it's not your truth in the now, right now, then maybe it's time to wait it out and see after the transit is finished if you're still feeling it, you know. So it's kind of a bit of both. I know, Anita, you mentioned something and I asked you to hold off. You were talking about why, you know, some of us who don't have this design, the gate 29 in our design, why we experience this, and also a little kind of thing about projectors. So I'd love you to talk about this and your own experience of the transit.
Absolutely, sure. This is a super energy. I know I say that every week, but this is a really super energy. It's the energy connected to the sacral, um, which gives us the not enoughness feeling as projectors. It's not enough because if I'm not fully committed, I'll always be sitting on the fence or experiencing life halfway, or the glass half full or half empty. I'm never fully committed to anything. But it's also the energy for quit or don't quit. So with the projector, we take in this energy when it's in the transits, from the transits, and we amplify it. And if you know, if we're with someone with this energy, we take it in and amplify it. And one of the massive advantages to this energy in manifesting is that um, recognizing, number one, that you're committing to something that says yes. This is the energy where we might overcommit by saying yes to things that we need to say no to, and say no to things that we need to say yes to. So the whole universe, all the transits at this moment are saying, question the old rules that you've been holding, question your ideals. Which ones are now associated with your yes? Which ones aren't? Because when you get this energy right and harness it correctly, this is the energy connected to that 46 that gives you the ability to be in the right place at the right time with the right person at the right opportunity, and it really speeds up your manifesting. So it's amazing, like how great that is. And the other side of this energy is sometimes when you're half committed to something, or as you say with the emotional energy, I have the emotion center defined. You say yes based on an emotion, and you're in the activity a week later, an hour later, and you're thinking, oh my God, why did I agree to this again? You know, and it's actually very natural when the emotion drives your yes instead of your actual inner yes. And as well as that, what happens with that lack of commitment is that we kind of quit just before we're due to maybe reap the reward of something. So this is the energy where, and I was reading Richard Rudd as well, is when you're not committed, you quit before the opportunity is complete, and it's kind of drives you into a cycle of continually attracting this experience until you complete it. So for business, this is an amazing time because Mercury retrograde is right on this. It's actually conjunct Mercury in that gate at the moment, retrograde. So it's saying just assess what you're doing, assess what processes or systems you're applying to your business, assess how you're applying to your business. Um, are you afraid to commit to your business? Are you afraid of the success that it will bring? And so the other side being, well, as soon as you commit, you know what? The energy is right there to support you. So for a generator, manifesting generator, 70% of our work population, when you're connected to that, yes, it like really elevates the manifesting. For us as projectors, if we know people with that yes, it's worth to meet them. It's worth it to meet them for coffee and to just sit down and know that you're borrowing that yes energy. And it can be really, again, very effective with the manifesting. Now, the reason we can overcommit with this is because this energy almost makes you no averse. You know, when people say no to you, you're there, what do you mean no? And do it anyway, right? Or if people or you feel compelled to say yes all the time. So if you have this energy, or if like Juliette and myself, we're being conditioned with this energy next week, be very careful what you're saying yes to. Because you can really like you can be borrowing someone else's yes instead of your own. And the other thing is that overcommitting, saying yes, take your time. My best friend with this energy has become, you know what? That's a great suggestion. Let me get back to you. And just take the time to establish, is it my true yes? Because as a projector, so we take in the sacral yes energy, amplify it, think their yes is ours, and it can lead to serious overcommitting for the projector, reflector type, and manifestor type, actually. All right. So that's always good to know for your manifesting. So back to you, Juliette.
This is so cool. I have a couple of kind of to add and a little feedback because guys, we're two different projectors here. You know, projectors are very diverse type. You know, generators are actually much more similar, even though we are all very unique. But the projectors are extremely diverse because they have so different like combinations of what can make them a projector, right? So we have an emotional projector who Anita here, and a splenic. Emotional projector driven by the emotional waves, and you have to understand what these emotions are, because I have this conversation with a lot of emotional people, and I know Anita for years now. Anita doesn't come across like what we say an emotional person, you know, this, you know, drama queen. I would never say that she is. She's a very kind of together person, most of the time very soft spoken, quiet person. So emotional authority has nothing to do with you being like ups and downs. A lot of people say, well, how am I emotional? I'm cool. But it's about this a sense of nervousness and moodiness. And I have a completely open emotional center, so I sense these things. And sometimes I amplify, obviously, but with the human design experiment, the advantage is you get to notice when you are amplifying, and you can, you know, see that this is not yours, and you can kind of catch yourself in the middle of the drama thing. But I think it's really important. So one thing just to define when we're talking about emotional decisions, or, you know, based on this emotional gate, we're talking about the sense. Sometimes it can be feeling like a background sense of nervousness, just unease and nervousness, or it can be excitement, and also it's like a background thing that's always there. Are you're nodding, Anita? Is that how you're experiencing this? Because I think we were not talking enough. We're grabbing this original word that, you know, was used when the human design system was created, but it needs to be unpacked because a lot of people misunderstand the language that this is using. And while you're grabbing these things, that's why I try and give you a different way of looking at like what is this emotional energy. Then you need to align it and just watch yourself over a period of time and see how it shows in you. Maybe you have a different word that will sink in with you, like stay with you to describe what you're feeling, and that's how it all works, you know. And this is really interesting because I have felt a lot of nervousness in the last, you know, 24 to 36 hours, you know, and it's just there, you know. So this is coming from earth grounding something, like with this, all these commitments, all this saying yes that I might want to say, or, you know, thinking in the past. Like, this is the shadow always, the conditioning is always working. This energy, it's not just about something's presented and are you going to say yes or no? No, your head will be like, oh my God, I just got married 2 weeks ago. Did I do the right thing? I'm not saying that it's not a question for me, but these are the kind of things like, oh my God, what's going to be ahead? Oh my, your mind just keeps spreading yourself too thin. But that's what happens. First of all, if you overcommit, if you commit to wrong things, if you don't commit it. There is another phrase that I want to bring up. One of the first people who I followed in the personal development world, his name is John Assaraf, and John Assaraf talks about a lot about your, setting goals and money manifestation, and also, just watching your emotions, imposter syndrome, all these kind of things. And one of his brand stories, like how he became who he is, was a question that his mentor asked him once. He said, are you interested or are you committed? Because there's a big difference. And this is where that quote, 99% of commitment is the same as 1% of commitment. That's what Richard Rudd said. It's not, it's still half-hearted, 100% or nothing. And so when you are committed to something, you're fully in. So when you are saying yes to something, make sure that these are the things that you are in. You're sold, you're in and you want to stick with it no matter what. You're going to go through the motions. We're living also in the world that is very easily, we're quitting very easily, because this is a saying yes and again, saying no and quitting. It's the same energy. It's the two sides of the same coin, right? So we sometimes feel like, oh my God, I'm going to enter this. And especially this gate is going to show in your relationships, because the commitment, the true commitment is relationships. Yes, with your romantic relationships or with your work relationships. How committed are you to stick through whatever is ahead? That's the question here. So it's not about excitement, right? Oh, I want this. This is great. Paint yourself like some sort of rosy picture. No, it's about like a truly, truly, I'm in. I'm in,
Mm.
and that's it. And yes, of course, it's also an energy of I'm out. Sometimes
Yeah.
we projectors, we know the invitation, it sometimes expires.
Mm.
So, and why I said that we're very different projectors is because, I was talking about this emotional energy. It's really, really good to always have this best friend saying, I'll get back to you, and
Mm.
not being, especially when you have any of the transits in any of the emotional gates, whether it's the sun or earth, because it's good for you to wait. And even if you're splenic like me, I know in the moment, I always know whether it's good for me or not. My mind can override easily what I know within me, but this inner knowing, calm knowing, whether it's a yes or no, it's always there. That's the splenic work. It's not like a yes or no of the sacral. It's very, very quiet. But I might know in the moment that this is for me or not for me. But because of this energy, there might be this pressure to say, to commit on the spot. And I think personally, unless you're 100% sure and it's this calm knowing, it's not emotional, it's not in any way excited, it's not because you're nervous or afraid of something, it really is, it's like true to yourself, yes, then you can commit on the spot. Don't be afraid of it. But anything else, say, let me get back to you. Because people who invite you to something, people, whatever's happening, wherever that yes is coming from, right? If it's a true yes, or if it's a true invitation, they can wait. They can wait. And in fact, I read somewhere about the emotional projectors, which was really, really cool. So if you don't have the sacral to straight away say yes or no, right? And it's an emotional wave, and how do you then know? It says it's really good to reject the invitation, the accepting invitation straight away by saying, I'll get back to you. Because if it's a true invitation, if they really want you and the goodness that you bring, they'll only be more excited to wait. They will only be more excited that maybe you'll come back to them. So it's kind of works in your favor. And us projectors, we try too hard, always do too much, right? So it's good to hold back, slow down to accelerate, reject so they want you more. This reverse psychology, be exclusive, let them be so happy when you finally do say yes, if it is true to you after, you went through emotional wave. And these are the things that's really, really cool to know about yourself, about others. So that's where this is why I do all this, what we're doing now. We're bringing you weekly transits, or, they're not really weekly, they're 6 days usually, and sometimes even shorter, depends on how fast the planets move. But we're bringing you this contemplations from two of us, so you can just watch your own life and watch what's going on in your own life. It's not about black and white and some sort of rules. We're not saying to you, don't say yes to anything or yes, say yes to everything. It's not about this at all. But it is about this awareness that what human design experiment is. And the awareness is power and a weapon and the way to accept the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. When you're aware of human design first, and then when you recognize or know your specific configuration or your specific way of expressing your energy, it just gives you that confidence that no matter what's going on outside of you, you know where you are and you
Yes.
know what your yes is. So, regardless of the uncertainty, knowing yourself this well really is like a superpower to allow you to kind of go, well, look, I know what my yes and no is. So, I have confidence that I can call it not to or yes to do something and be okay with it. And that's a big, big, that to me, I know I wish I knew this sooner, but it's a big advantage to be able to give people in this day and age when everything is so uncertain right now.
Yeah.
And especially with relation to work, because the work situation, as we know, has been changing gradually. Pluto is going back into Capricorn now in a couple of weeks' time until November. So we're really going to be, and you can see it with the kids, they want to do stuff they love. But I would say you need to take it a step further than doing things that you love. We're removing the old boy or the old controlling rules from our work. And let's use our yes instead. Let's use that inner
Mhm.
authority to determine what that work needs to be moving forward instead. Because knowing that you can honor your commitment and you don't find you're overcommitting because you're afraid to say no because you think they mightn't hire you. You know, you can get out of that dance of like crazy that keeps you, that potentially has sets you up to burn out. And you can just honor your yes as you go through and recreate your business in the way that suits you better and deal with your clients in a different way. And of course, that gives you the fast track because when you're following your yes, it's what the spiritual guru is saying, you're following your bliss. You're following the path that you were here to participate in. And this week's energy is saying, well, are you still sitting in the fence or are you grabbing the life by the horns and just taking it on? And it's amazing.
It is amazing. And also, and again, I think that we're going like full circle to where I started with this thing that this week, it's not about just saying yes and whatever, even grabbing the life by its horns. It's very unique to you. And you have to really, truly 100% commit. And it has to be your truth for you to do that. But when you do that, that is everything unfolds. Like Anita mentioned, manifestations happen because it's aligned with you. This is bliss. It's not just some sort of surface level making decisions on a surface level. So it's a deep, deep responsibility that you need to take for these yeses you're saying. And I love that we sort of like finishing on the same note as we started. So guys, thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next transit in Transits and Tactics, and have a fabulous way. Say yes to yourself. See you. Bye.